Are there any signals? I mean, we can see right here on the BitLab Trading Stack, which, basically a quick reminder for everybody, this bottom one here is a significant movement. This is the combination between a bunch of momentum indicators, stochastics, MACD, momentum, and RSI. It gives you a good indication when things are generally consensus among those. Not only overheated, but also overheated on a moving average, which is this line here is a moving average. And so once we get above that and we're seeing a majority of these momentum indicators being overheated, basically overbought, or underheated, cooled off, very underbought. That's overheated is red, underheated is blue. And we saw this signal red this entire move. So this was already signaling that this was overheated going into a level that we already knew was going to be contested. So that gave us an indication. Okay, now we look at the relative extrema. This shows, is the move moving much too quickly? When we see these bars sticking outside of the cloud or on the opposite side, in this case, they're outside of the cloud on the same side. This means the move is moving much too fast. It needs to slow down. It needs to, the stamina in there. It needs to take a breath. It needs to, sort of get some water. It doesn't necessarily mean it needs to completely reverse, but it does suggest that that move needs to cool off for sure. So then we can utilize this in conjunction with things being overheated. As we saw, stuff was overheated, and then we get the signal to the upside right here, and we also got the reversal. Now we can also look at the BitLab hidden volume, which gives us an indication, is there fuel for this move? If there's a move going to the upside, but there's bearish divergence going into it, a good example of that is right here. Move is trying to push up, but there's a bearish divergence going into this on the volume, meaning there's not volume to support price action. There's no interest really as price goes higher, and it's likely to reverse. That's what happens. We can also see right here, similarly, just bearish divergence alone on the hidden volume signaled the top of this move, because there's less volume than needed to even sustain this level, so price action breaks to the downside. That's how you can utilize these. Now, the final sort of nail in the coffin is we can turn on BitLab Market Intelligence, which utilizes EMA ribbons, as well as seeing 10 different indicators that it can read divergences on, which essentially divergences, if these flags are on top, these are bearish divergences. If these flags are on bottom, this is bullish divergences. Now, again, divergences help signal, is there fuel and agreement and momentum and the things necessary to continue price action moving up a hill? Because, as you move up a hill, it takes more work to do that, and that takes more engine power, it takes more horsepower, and you need to continue putting fuel into that to have a likelihood of that movement to continue to the upside. Now, if you get a small, as you move up here, we're seeing the momentum indicators here on the significant movement showing this is overheated. And then as we get to a level of price interest, which is, we could just zoom out. You always want to, if you're zoomed in like this, zoom out. Is there a level around that I should be looking at? Well, we see this previous high. Let's see what the momentum indicators suggest as we move into that. We see the significant movement overheating into this, and we see 3 different bearish divergences, meaning 3 different indications from 3 different momentum indicators, as well as money flow as well. We see money flow right here. We see these things giving confluence with each other, agreeing that this price action is going to be a struggle. Now, as we move further, we move to this next level right here. Now, this is very little momentum. But we have a price action level here that this is already struggling at, and we see the relative extrema sticking out to the upside, suggesting that this small move to this upside and this previous price action suggests that this will be a likely reversal. But what we always do, if we don't have the signal we're looking for on this time frame, we're trading the 3-day, let's move down to the daily. This is how we can prepare for that crash. No matter what you're doing, look at your larger time frame, for instance, the weekly. Okay, money flow, the bearish divergence on the volume. What did I tell you? Overextended going into this move. So we're seeing leading signals as well as current signals on this level with the money flow, bearish divergence on the volume saying it doesn't agree. So then we looked at those smaller time frames. We looked at the 3-day. We saw the signal. We can come down to the daily, see the signals, what's going on here. Now on the daily, we get the very clear signal. Is this going to roll over? Well, likely. We have this flip flash to red meaning the momentum is overheated. We have the relative extrema sticking out of the cloud here. Why do I know that? We can double click. We see this sticking out of the cloud, and we've got some updates coming to all the indicators very soon as well. We've been working on to simplify some things, have a simple look, as well as making some things a little tuned up, which is going to be really cool. But coming into this move, we see this pivot high and then this initial pullback, push back up. We see this previous high. So coming into this high, are we wondering, are we going to continue past it, or are we going to break down? Well, what we're looking for as we come into this zone that's been highly contested, we come into this zone, we're seeing 5 different bearish divergences. So I would expect some sort of pullback here in conjunction with also having the overheated momentum signals. This is aggregating a bunch of momentum signals and sort of customizing it to give you that one look at all these momentum signals. And we see on market intelligence, we have bearish RSI divergence, bearish stochastics, bearish on balance volume, bearish money flow index, bearish hidden volume. That's what this external is. And we're just struggling at this level. And then we get a pivot high. That it's a no-brainer at this level. We would be planning for smaller targets. So that now we're at the daily. Let's look more locally. This is how you methodically go from that macro, midterm, micro, which is what I was talking about, which is how all of these cycles play out. You have your macro, you're playing the downtrend, but you want to play this midterm bounce, but you want to look on your micro to figure out exactly where your trigger is to make that move. So coming back to the chart here, we're looking at this chart. Now we can come down to the 4-hour. And we can see, was there any more clarity on what we were looking at? Let's let the charts load, and we can see, oh, there's a lot of clarity here. So it's moving this. Could play the bounce, pivot high, play the bounce, pivot high. We also have a established trend line now. But where we're at right now, if we saw this, we want to know. We can delete this just so we can have a clearer look. We want to know, how do we prepare if we were trading this up move? Do we know if this is just a test, this can continue down? Well, first steps first, we can see this move to the upside right here. We see that there's basically overheated, neutral. This goes overheated, but we also have a low pivot, as well as showing the relative extrema sticking out. Look at this. This was front running it right here. And then we get bullish. I love these divergences on hidden volume. If you don't see the R and the H, double click on it and select this, show hidden divergences. And you're going to want to see, when you see this bearish divergence, great signal right there, drop. We see bullish divergence, volume coming in. We see this in conjunction with the relative extrema. These pointing to the downside are an indication. It's almost like a slingshot pulling down, giving pressure, giving momentum indication, likely to the upside, coupled with then this flash, we get the flash of the bullish divergence on hidden volume. And then as this breaks up, we immediately get, again, we don't even get to this high. We immediately get 5 bearish divergences. We get, this is a histogram, MACD histogram. So basically you have a bearish MACD, we have bearish RSI, bearish stochastics, bearish momentum, bearish money flow. So nothing's agreeing with this going higher. You can see the motivation of all the market participants coming out of the market at this level. And we can see the just general candle pattern analysis. We see shooting star here, and then a sort of a spinning top doji candle here, indecision, neutrality after we're having a bullish momentum, suggesting likely price was going to come down. Now we come down, we test the support area, we flip this to support, but then we break down again. And so we're seeing weakness here. So that's how we want to, as bullish as we can be, we want to identify and notice when there is weakness in the market. And we're seeing things struggle to continue up. So we want to look at those downside targets. Now, again, we looked at the CME gap. We looked at the CME gap right below us at 19. We're going to go back to the daily at 19,800 area, 19,900. So if we're seeing weakness right now, sustaining at this level, we want to really identify, boom, this level right here, option J. If you want to do these horizontal rays quickly, it's option J or alt J on PC. If we lose this level at 23, basically 22,700, 22,800, then I am looking for a retest down here, very likely at, which now, because the price action has moved over here, it would have been at 21,000. But this massive sort of downtrend of resistance we see, we know is this. Let's go ahead and mute that. This massive downtrend of resistance. This is a key line for us. And so if we play this to the downside, I'm looking at targets in this region of that basically 19.5 to $20,000 level. And if we lose this level, then we need to look to other levels using your Fibonacci, option F. And we come up to the top and we can see, look at where this level is. This $19,900, $19,800 level is perfectly in line, the CME gap and the golden pocket from this entire move, which is very likely retrace level on. If we pushed up here, the retrace here, very likely, very healthy, would be right here at the $19,800 level. Now, if we lose this level, then we are going to be all eyes on deck on looking at all our levels, all our momentum, what's happening. Is it a fake out? And we can address that when we get there. But as it stands right now, unless we see some strength come into the market where we're at right here on Bitcoin, it is looking like there's weakness coming into this and, a lower high right here. So are we going to form another lower high below this and hit this zone? I'm looking at it. That's what I'm seeing. And that's how we can utilize the BitLab Trading Stack as well to help identify some of these things in the market. We are seeing some strength come in right now, but look at this. There's strength coming in and also in concurrence with a lot of choppiness on this. So we want to look at what's happening on these smaller time frames and see if we can find any signals. There's a lot of struggle going on. So wait for some clarity. Sometimes it pays to be patient. Sometimes it pays to wait on the sidelines and let these very choppy portions of the market sort of identify where they're at so you can identify an excellent trading strategy to dominate them. Make sure you come over to bitlabacademy.com and you come over to sign up, put in your email here. You'll still have a chance to be entered to win. With that, that's all I got for you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hit that like button. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, join our community, leave your comments below. What are you doing with this market? Are you long? Are you short? Are you excited? Are you hopeful? Do you have a plan or not? Let me know. Big love to everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here again. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. We're going to do this again and again.